The Great Wall of China. You know it, I know it. It is undeniably the most famous wall in human history. But what if I told you that almost everything you thought you knew about it was completely wrong?
Right off the bat, we've got to ask a pretty shocking question. What if it barely even worked? Because as we're going to see in this explainer, this monumental, globally famous defense system actually had some truly embarrassing flaws that historians rarely highlight.
We are uncovering some incredibly dark truths today, guys. We're talking hundreds of thousands dead during construction, chilling legends of bodies buried right inside the stone. And spoiler alert, no way, you definitely cannot see it from space. By the end of this explainer, we'll expose the brutal reality behind the wall, the invasions, the forgotten emperors, and the terrifying obsession that created one of humanity's biggest monuments.
Section 1. The Giant Group Project.
Okay, so we really need to shatter the biggest myth right now. The Great Wall was never a single, continuous structure built all at once. Actually, scratch that, it's more like history's absolute longest group project. It's a collection of walls built over a massive 2,000-year span by rival Chinese kingdoms and dynasties. It all kicked off way back in the 5th century BC during China's Warring States period, with walls made simply from dirt, wood, and stone, just to stop northern invasions. But then, history shifted dramatically in 221 BC.
Enter Qin Shi Huang, China's very first emperor. And let me tell you, he was a remarkably ruthless ruler. So ruthless that he allegedly buried scholars alive simply for disagreeing with him. Wild, right? After unifying China, Qin ordered those existing, scattered defensive walls to be connected into one massive system. And honestly, that is exactly when the real nightmare began for the people of China.
Section 2. The Deadly Construction. The creation of the Great Wall quickly escalated into one of the deadliest construction projects the world has ever seen. The estimated human cost? It's staggering. 1 million. Historians actually believe hundreds of thousands and possibly over 1 million workers died building it. And to be clear, these were not willing volunteers. Many were prisoners, peasants, soldiers, and political enemies forced into brutal, back-breaking labor. Just imagine hauling massive stones across freezing mountains with very little food and absolutely no machinery. If workers collapsed from exhaustion, well, they simply never returned home.
Because of this immense suffering, chilling legends started spreading like wildfire, claiming that bodies were buried right inside the wall itself. Now, while historians debate the physical evidence of that today, the myths survive simply because the people associated the wall entirely with suffering and death. One of the most famous stories tells of Meng Jiangnu, a woman whose husband died building the wall. The legend says her grief was so powerful that part of the wall literally collapsed, revealing his bones. It's a really dark, emotional piece of folklore. But you know, despite all that staggering death and sacrifice.
Section 3. The Ultimate Flaw.
The grand irony of the Great Wall is that despite millions dying to build it, it had a massive, undeniable problem. It was breached repeatedly. So how did invaders get past humanity's greatest barrier? Well, nomadic tribes often just went around it entirely, or they simply bribed the guards. Sometimes they just attacked the structural weak points. The biggest example? The Mongols. Led by Genghis Khan, they managed to conquer China despite the wall being right there. Turns out, giant walls really don't help much if simple corruption opens the gates from the inside. I mean, imagine building one of humanity's greatest defenses only for someone to unlock the door for money. History can be pretty embarrassing sometimes.
But the wall did evolve. Later on, during the Ming Dynasty, it was rebuilt much stronger. This is the iconic version you've probably seen mostly tourists visiting today, constructed with durable bricks, heavy stone, and those massive, famous watchtowers. They even utilized a system of ancient smoke signals, which allowed messages to travel hundreds of miles very quickly. Basically, it was ancient military texting, keeping the whole massive empire connected.
Section 4. The Space Myth.
Over the centuries, huge parts of the wall simply disappeared due to natural erosion, war, and even local villagers reusing the old bricks to build their own houses. But there's a much bigger modern misunderstanding we need to talk about. We've all heard the expectation. Millions of us were taught that the Great Wall is easily visible to the naked eye from space. But the reality? Astronauts confirmed years ago that this is completely false. You cannot see it, period. So one of history's most repeated textbook facts turned out to be a total fabrication, which honestly feels like a very internet thing to happen before the internet even existed.
Section 5. The Real Purpose.
Okay, so the deepest, darkest truth about why the Great Wall existed isn't actually about the death tolls or the invading armies at all. It's about what the wall truly represented: propaganda. You see, Chinese emperors lived in constant fear.
Fear of invasion, fear of rebellion, fear of losing absolute control. The wall became the ultimate tool of psychological propaganda. It was physical proof that the rulers could manifest their fears into a project so massive, it literally reshaped the Earth itself. And wow, they certainly did reshape it.
But ultimately, even the largest wall on planet Earth couldn't stop dynasties from eventually collapsing. Empires still fell. History just kept moving right past those monumental stones.
Section 6, Secrets Uncovered. Because the story isn't entirely over. Unrepaired, wild sections of the wall may still hide secrets that have been buried away for thousands of years. And speaking of ancient secrets, we absolutely have to talk about Qin Shi Huang, that ruthless first emperor who linked the walls together in the first place. His tomb is legendary and completely terrifying. It has sat totally untouched for over 2,000 years. Ancient texts describe rivers of liquid mercury flowing inside. And get this, it's allegedly rigged with deadly ancient traps.
In our next explainer, we are going to dive straight into that terrifying tomb. So if you enjoyed this fast-paced, deep dive into history's darker side, make sure to hit subscribe and turn on your notifications right now. Because history isn't just about the past. Sometimes it's about the incredible secrets still waiting to be uncovered, and trust me, you won't want to miss our next explainer.
Which leaves us with one final, chilling question to ponder before we go. If we know exactly where the emperor who started the Great Wall is buried, why do modern archaeologists still refuse to fully open his tomb? Think about that, and I'll see you in the next explainer to find out.